You need to play this game. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is honestly some of the most fun I have had with a newly original IP in the last decade or so. That is not a joke, and that is not cap. I am telling you, as someone that has played JRPGs, turn-based combat, all of these different new school games like Persona, even old school stuff like Shin Megami Tensei, all the way back to the RPGs that were around when I was in diapers like Legend of Dragoon. If you like any of those games that I just mentioned, or are a fan of any of the same vein or genre, you will enjoy Expedition 33. I want to make it very clear, this is not a sponsored video. This video is purely made out of the childlike joy that has come from playing an original video game series. Yes, original, not tied to any other series, not tied to any other franchise, and it is from Sandfall Interactive, a French studio that is this team's first game. It deserves every bit of praise because wow, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a masterpiece in the RPG turn-based combat genre. Expedition 33 takes place in an alternate reality of France, and in this world, society is afflicted by something known as the Gommage, a mysterious death ritual that gets carried out every year by this mysterious being known only as the Paintress. 67 years ago, the world was fractured, and the continent of Lumiere was separated from the world at large, leaving only a monolith in the background that counted down slowly from 100. That number corresponds with the age of the people every year that are erased from existence. However, every year there is a team of expeditioners that embark on this new continent in hopes that they can one day stop the Paintress and end the terrible affliction known as the Gommage. Considering there have already been 66 expeditions, it is almost always considered a death wish. However, as our main character Gustav would say, everything expeditioners do are for those that come after. And to be honest with you, the story only gets more complicated from here. Obviously, it is turn-based, but it also involves a little bit of real-time gameplay as well, which means strategy is involved. And if you don't get your shit together with the dodge and parry system, you are going to get cooked. It is not like your average turn-based RPG where you're just gonna take damage. The enemy has a bunch of crazy cool scenes and moves. You're not gonna be able to stop it unless you have some kind of block or guard mechanic. Either way, you're always taking damage. In Expedition 33, in the middle of gameplay, as the opponent is releasing these crazy combos, have to tap the dodge, parry, or as it gets crazier and crazier on, even other buttons to straight up stop the enemies from one-shotting you. Keep in mind, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty right now, so it may not be that crazy in lower levels. What really makes this game for me and makes it seem like a more traditional RPG from the olden days, it's the extra content. Now, I don't have to tell you guys how games that we get nowadays are severely undercooked. There's one or two that slip through the cracks. Honestly, you can almost always count on a game releasing in a somewhat 95% finished state with either DLC coming, a first day patch, even just purely linear storytelling, no real post gameplay. However, the moment you step into the overworld of Expedition 33 and you're free to go into higher level dungeons and go everywhere across the entire continent, and what's even crazier is you're rewarded for all of it. Obviously, there are areas that might be blocked off by certain vehicle upgrades that you'll be getting throughout the story, like swimming or flying, but for the most part, you can walk into endgame areas and just get blitzed from the beginning or Giga Chad that shit and completely succeed against an unwinnable, usually, boss battle, which is just a small little thing that I personally love. Again, games nowadays have really been lackluster when it comes to branching pathways or quote-unquote open world. This game, almost half of the content that is included is not necessary at all to go through and complete the story. Without spoiling anything, the whole world completely opens up entirely once you reach the final act, and it's pretty much just on you to either go complete the story or fuck around for another 30 or so hours as per the developers and see what this whole world has to offer. The different party members are also fun and enjoyable as well, which means you have have plenty of chances to change up your teams, include every party member, and experiment however you want. There even is a small little relationship system, which means that the characters, they do have fun dialogue that you can either miss, play with different choices, and see what you get. It's nowhere near as complicated as Persona, but honestly, I preferred that as to get back to the gameplay loop as soon as possible. I enjoyed what was there though, and it makes everyone feel a lot more fleshed out if you're into that kind of thing. Again, you can just skip all that if you really want to. Sure, you might miss out on all the additional skills and cutscenes, but ultimately it is entirely up to you how deep you want to dive into this game. Even when it comes to the game's unique character customization mechanic, the Pictos and Lumina systems, allowing you to change out every character's job, abilities, passive buffs, you name it, all just by equipping a Picto and learning it over time after a couple of battles. It means that you are going to be able to take that ability that was tied to that Picto and add it into any party member that you want within reason based on the amount of Luminas that you have for every character. So outside of every unique character's basic skill moveset, you can really build them however you want, stat-wise and ability-wise, which really scratches that itch of being able to perfectly build yourself for every encounter. And they also give you plenty of items to rebuild your stats as well. So once you choose a path for a character, it's almost never permanent. This game does not hold your hand. It doesn't give you a quest marker, lead you down a hallway the entire game. I have gotten lost in Expedition 33 more than once, not in a bad way. I mean, just with having fun in the side content and losing track of the main story, getting side quests, going into random markers on the map that I have no reason to be at, but is just fun for me to go to. If you've been on the channel long enough, you know that I am a personally very big Shin Megami Tensei fan. Obviously, that means that not only do I hate myself and believe the only way to repent is through constant torture and pain instead of, just playing a cozy game like Animal Crossing, I love the satisfying feeling of grinding a victory against a boss until you painstakingly learn their moveset, and that's something you get every fucking encounter with a new enemy in Expedition 33. You have to learn every enemy's specific attack patterns, different combos, and yes, they have multiple of them. Difficulty, as someone that enjoys playing every game they touch on the absolute hardest tier they can, is important to me. It's hard for a game not to just add arbitrary strategies or like artificial stat and XP reductions just to achieve that, hard expert level experience. Yet every single time I died in Expedition 33, it was my own damn fault. And that's either because those enemies' combos are just fucking ridiculous and I'm just not good at dodge timing, despite this being the 100th time I've seen the attack. And that's my fault, and it's something that I can work on, try again, and do better next time. Sure, I might have to fight the same boss 80 times, but when I do nail that perfect parry and I just start bulldozing through mobs of enemies and bosses that were previously killing me non-stop, it's not because I grinded and leveled up a fuck ton. It's because I genuinely learned and adapted to each enemy's moveset and just got better at parrying or hitting their weaknesses with my team. It's not a difficulty that you can just grind through, hit everything level 100 and just destroy. I can run into a mob of enemies from the very first section of the game and get cooked unironically just because I'm missing my dodges and parries. The satisfaction that I get from a game like this, especially when there's a great story tied behind it, RPG turn-based, I can run around, explore, and have fun doing it. It's a childlike joy I don't think I felt since I cried my fucking eyeballs out to the first Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer after a 13-year-long wait. If you feel me and understand what I'm saying, know that you have to try this game. Sandfall, you have earned me as a fan, and I promise you I will check out every single game that you either include in the Clair Obscur series. And honestly, unless something else industry breaking gets announced to come out this year, now that GTA 6 is getting delayed, this is without a doubt a guaranteed Game of the Year nomination. I normally don't do videos like this, so you enjoyed, please hit that like button. I sincerely appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.